Hello, beautiful mom leaders. Welcome back to Conscious Champagne Chat number 57, I believe. And happy Monday. No, happy Tuesday to everybody. Oh my God, it's already Tuesday. For some reason, I'm still on Monday. The week is moving very, very fast. So how is everybody? Let me know when you're popping in here. Tell me how your weekend was and what you've been up to. I love to read your comments and learn all about you. So today I want to dig into understanding how you can actually change somebody else's behavior and how you cannot. And so the reason that I want to talk about this is because this is very often a question I get from my clients, which is like, how can I get my child to stop from being messy? How can I get my husband to, clean up? How can I get my husband to stop yelling? Now that I'm gone on this journey and I've cleared my triggers and I've gotten rid of all my angers, I still see my husband, parents, or my spouse parents in a very different behavior, with a very different style than I do, right? And so if you think about it, this is the reason we end up having arguments, we end up having fights, is because the one person wants to do one thing and the other person wants to do another thing. And so this means we show different ways of wanting to do things. So we show different types of behaviors. And so often we're really, really focused on how can I fix the other person? How can I get the other person to do something that, I would be approving of? And so if you think about it, what the core of this is that the thing that they're doing, so let's say, your child is being super messy and they never clean up their room. What you're doing is we're labeling that as a wrong behavior. It's something we don't like about them. It's something we associate with a whole bunch of things in our head, we didn't do a good job as a parent. We didn't teach them how to be a clean, good, tidy person. And so it really, really, there's something about their behavior that really bothers us. And so because we have put this in this box of not working, it is wrong, it bothers me, we want to desperately fix it. And so we want to move this person, we want this person to shift over here to get it right. And whatever what in the way that what we consider to be the right thing. So messy room is wrong, clean room is right, basically, right? To keep it very, very simple. And so the tools that we usually use for this are coming from a fear-based behavior that turns into controlling tools. And the controlling tools that we use are either punishment or reward, a reward way. And if you think about it, it's like the way we talk constantly to our children in particular is, if you don't clean up your room, you cannot watch the iPad. So we constantly threaten them. And it's the same thing with our spouses. The way we talk to the way we try to change our spouse's behavior is by a constant nagging. We constantly criticize their behavior. And the problem of this is, what is actually going on? What is going on is that we're using tools that make the other person feel small, that make the other person feel they're wrong, that make the other person feel like they failed, right? And by doing that, we are hoping that they're going to realize their wrongness in their behavior, and then they will finally change. So my question to you, my friends, is, when has that ever been successful? When has that ever worked? Never. Never. In particular, not with your adult spouse. The nagging never leads you to the desired outcome that you want. Now, with your kids, This might work in a very short term, especially if your reward or punish, like if your reward system is, hey, you can go and watch TV when you clean up your room, or, you can go and play iPad, or I'm going to take that away from you. If those are your reward and punishment mechanisms, they will work on a very short term, and it's going to make you feel good because you have control, and they did what as they were told, and you actually think you fixed your problem. But, my friends, it's going to backfire. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not in 2 weeks, but definitely in a couple of years. It's going to backfire. Because the way we try to get somebody else to do something always comes from a place of pointing out to them what they've done wrong, making them feel bad, in the hope that they will realize because they did something wrong, they're finally going to go and do it right. And this is why, we're hard to ourselves. This is why we constantly believe we are not good enough. And then we're trying to force our human to finally go and do something right so we can be approved of. And so I want to give you a different tool of how you really can actually change somebody else's behavior in the fastest way possible. And so let me ask you a question. So, for example, my husband and I, we operate in very different timelines. So if we go on vacation and we're supposed to take a plane, which hasn't happened in the last 1.5 years given Corona, but let's say we're supposed to we have to go to the airport. Now, I'm a super last minute person. I'm very relaxed. I'm like, that's fine. Oh my God, that's 10 minutes buffer. That's like a lot. Whereas my husband is like, no, we have to be there 3 hours early because, all these things could happen. And so we have to be there three hours early. And so this would constantly be a tension point between us because I'm last minute. He's super planned, super organized, needs to be there super early. Now, there's nothing right or wrong in either of these behaviors. It's just understanding there's different types of behavior. Now, but instead of understanding each other and instead of accepting each other and maybe meeting in the middle, we fight each other to just insist on our own righteous behavior. And so the fastest way to really actually get to a common ground here is to ask yourself, can you accept the other person where she is at? Can you meet the other person based on where she is at? So let's say you have made a conscious decision to stop the yelling at your kids and you've really improved and you really see the progress and you really see the change and the effect it's having on the relationship with your children, but your spouse is still using, let's say, the military style, the punishment, like when they don't do something, he still yells at your children. And now you desperately want to change his behavior because it's wrong. Like for you, it's just wrong. So then you try. So this is what I did. I remember this is what I did. Like I kept constantly criticizing and pointing out to him like how this behavior of him was wrong. And what happened is it made it actually worse. It makes it worse. So what you need to ask yourself is, can I accept my spouse based on where he's at? Or is this actually a reason for me to get divorced or not be with him? Like you have a choice. I know this sounds maybe harsh, but this is what it ultimately comes down to. Can you accept the other person based on where she's at? And what happens when you truly, truly accept this person? What happens is they will change voluntarily. Why? Because they feel seen, they feel heard, they feel appreciated, they feel understood without the yucky punishment, nagging, controlling type of behavior. My daughter is a big messy. She's a messy person. She loves being messy. And it would drive me freaking nuts. Her room, you have no idea. When you walk in her room, there's like Playmobil all over the floor. And it was a constant struggle between us because no, you have to clean up at night. You have to clean up. You have to go and do it. Come on. If you don't clean up, there's not going to be reading tonight. If you don't clean up, there's not going to be watching your favorite TV show. That's the tools that I used to use. And it was a constant battle in our house every evening until I switched and I asked myself, can I accept her fully in the messiness she lives and she wants to be in? And so first I had to, my first reaction was like, oh, no, I cannot do that. Why? Because it means I failed as a mom, raising her into a tidy, good person, because being tidy equals being a good person. So this is the limiting belief that's running through my head. And so when I broke through that, I could then go and say, no, you know what? I do accept her. So I went and I met her with that acceptance, saying, you know what, honey? You really love being in a mess, right? Like, you living in this mess really helps you to be creative, because it does. It really inspires a lot of ideas in her creativity. And I just kept complimenting her on this mess and showed her how much I approve of her being this messy person. And you know what happened? She magically cleaned up the next day. And ever since, she cleans up. She cleans up. So this is really the key. If you want somebody else to change, you cannot change them. You cannot. You're wasting your energy. You're wasting all your power by trying to fix another person. It's never going to happen. It's never turned out to be successful. So the fastest way to actually get there is asking yourself, can I really love the person in its flaws, in the thing that bothers me so much? Can I really approve of that? Can I really accept that? And gotta feel into that. You have to truly be able to accept it. If you can't accept it, that's where you join our Rapid Anger Relief Mastermind. That's when we teach you how to clear all the gunk that is preventing you from getting to that place of acceptance. But when you truly accept the other person's behavior that you actually don't approve of, they are going to eventually change. They are. It might not happen tomorrow. Sometimes it takes a bit longer. And if you really cannot approve of the other person's behavior, you gotta ask yourself, how much longer do I want to put up with this? Now, you might not want to divorce your kids. You can't divorce your kids. But when it comes to an adult relationship, you literally have to ask yourself this question, because if you keep yourself in this situation, in something that really bothers you, then you have to understand you're a co-creator of this situation and you're keeping yourself stuck. So you're going to keep creating that scenario over and over. And that's where you have a choice. Can I accept it? If I cannot accept it, then I have to move out or I have to do something else. But if I accept it, if you can accept it, let it go. You have to detach from it to see the fruits of the other person's behavior changing and to really harvest those fruits. You have to accept it and let it go. And if you can let it go, it's on you, my friend. You have to do the work in here, because it's never proven to work out to change another person through the traditional, authoritarian tools of punishment, reward, control. Doesn't work. Nagging doesn't work either. I've tried it, trust me. Every time I try it, it just doesn't work. All right, my friends. I hope this is setting you up for this week. Go and think about it. Put in here and let me know what are the behaviors you would love to see changing in somebody else. And we can give you some tips and tell you how to let go and how to do it. All right? Take care. See you tomorrow. Bye.